Copyright disclaimer. Under Title 17 U.S.C. Section 107, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing nonprofit, educational, or personal use, tips the balance in favor of fair use. Okay, I have covered this article before, I think, but I feel like covering this story again is important. And this is from Pajiba. Scientology has a child sexual abuse problem. Here we go. By Mike Redmond, dated September 23rd, 2019. When you have a religion that goes to great lengths to protect its wealth and power, there's going to be sexual assault being quietly swept under the rug. As we've seen with the Catholic Church, Protestants, evangelicals probably shouldn't go around pointing fingers at their papal competitors. Because, in a refreshing bit of good news, for these absolutely god-awful times, the younger members, children, of those congregations are showing an increasing penchant for reporting sexual abuse. We don't talk about those kind of things. Isn't going to fly anymore. The norms of polite society, or some might say when America was great, are thankfully crumbling, and all kinds of horrible is falling out. Also, I want to add in here, too. It's not just the Catholic Church, the Protestants, evangelicals, Mormons, Latter-day Saints, and quite a few of these incestual cults that I've been studying. It's the police that are helping to cover it up. It's the officials that are helping to cover it up. It doesn't happen on its own. Which brings us to the latest lawsuit filed against David Miscavige and the Church of Scientology, which alleges the church punished the victim of child sexual abuse for having the nerve to speak out against her higher-ranking members, like prestigious executives, as instructed by very explicit rules laid forth by founder L. Ron Hubbard, who clearly had a keen sense of what was going to go down in his new religion. Imagine if one of the 10 Commandments was no cops, and you're in the ballpark of how fucked up this is going to get. Via Tampa Bay Times, CW link contains description of child sexual assault. Hubbard's policies, so just trigger warning, I don't know what I'm going to read now. Hubbard's policies rolled out following the formation of the Church of Scientology in 1953. Teach it is a high crime to report a Scientologist to law enforcement. Phones within certain church facilities are incapable of dialing 911, according to the lawsuit. At age 11, Doe was sent by Scientology to live in Caracas, Venezuela, without her parents. Let's listen to how they word things. So the parents have no say in the child's life? This is what just enrages me, just even the wording of this stuff. The next year, she was assaulted by the son of a high-ranking Scientologist. So ex-Scientologists, or even Scientologists for all that matters, put your thinking cap on. Who were the high-ranking Scientologists? When was it? What year was that? Oh, I thought it said the year. Anyways, you guys. good to try to figure out who that was. Scientologist at the Caracas org, a church facility according to the complaint. Well, and also, too, another reason that the young boys and the adult men are doing this is they know they can get away with it. So that just creates more of a rape culture. And how many times have we heard how many Scientology recruiters were raping, as well as the security guards were raping? They know they can get away with it. And also, it's my opinion that, and I'm not saying this about every Scientologist male, I don't mean that, but I do think a lot of the security guards, the handlers I call them, they look very dark to me. And that's just a metaphysical observation. Doe immediately disclosed the assault to her auditor. To her auditor, FBI. A person who conducts spiritual counseling. No, interrogation. Let's just stop. Let's stop with the counseling. Just stop already. Instead of reporting the assault to law enforcement, the lawsuit alleges church officials sentenced Doe to 3 months of physical labor, that means the RPF, and issued her a non-interpolation order, because she got raped as a child, at 11, which warned she was at risk of losing standing in the church for bringing in the sexual assault. They call it going out 2D. For anybody that doesn't know, that means the second dimension is the sex dimension. And then when the child, whether it's a boy or a girl, gets raped, they are told that they are out 2D, and they pulled in the assault. Standing in the church for bringing in the sexual assault. One who suffers sexual abuse, whether an adult or a child, is assumed to have done something to incite or invite such abuse, as the lawsuit describes Scientology practices. And you guys got to admit, they sure do seem to crank out the rapists in there, don't they? So a couple of things. First off, Jesus Christ. Second, remember when Josh Duggar molested his sisters? No, he raped them. There's a huge distinction between molestation and raping. So I just don't like when they use the M word. When Josh Duggar, and I'm changing to a more appropriate word. When Josh Duggar raped his sisters while they were sleeping, according to the religious teachings that his family strictly adheres to, that was also the girl's fault for making him think impure thoughts. Also, too, you guys notice how pushing all this very unnatural behavior, like in Scientology, boys and girls are not allowed to kiss, hold hands, or do anything unless they're married. Also, in some of the Islamic world, they're extremely strict on sex, on how people are to act. And guess what? There's way more sexual crimes. Second, okay, let's see, where was I? So if you're having doubts about your current religion of choice, maybe ask around to see where they stand on who's to blame for rape. And if it's the actual rapist. And if it's not the actual rapist, goddamn run. On top of that whole mess, the victim has reportedly been the target of the church's infamous intimidation tactics. Like Leah Remini was, like so many, she probably still is. Paulette Cooper. How many people have been victim of this? Especially the children that were raped, they get victimized over and 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 over. On top of that whole mess, the victim has reportedly been the target of the church's infamous intimidation tactics. Sorry, I know I read that again. According to the complaint filed in Miami-Dade Circuit Court on Wednesday, Scientology operatives cut the brake lines on the woman's car. Yeah, you notice how nobody went to jail for that? Isn't that great? Bought off cops. Vandalized her property. Followed and surveilled her. And harassed her with hundreds of spam calls. And you guys don't think that the same men that are doing this, the same male Scientologists that are doing this to her, you don't think they're raping women too? Come on. Come on. If all of that sounds familiar, why yes, it is the same exact thing that the church is doing to the women accusing Freudian slip, Danny Masterson of rape. Except now we know that the church is doing it because L. Ron Hubbard had a very strict no snitching policy. Yeah, unless you're snitching on your mother, father, or your friends, writing KRs on them. Which is smart when your entire religion is built on charging people exorbitant amounts of money to learn that alien ghosts cause depression. He's talking about thetans. I don't think I get what they're saying, but I don't really think it means alien ghosts. You really don't want to get out, ever, so it's totally boss that Leah Remini does things like telling Joe Rogan that Xenu is bullshit. From a previous Tampa Bay Times report, as soon as 4 women filed reports with Los Angeles police, in 2016 and 2017, alleging they were raped by actor Danny Masterson, the Church of Scientology unleashed a campaign of terror. Interesting choice of words. To intimidate the accusers and protect its celebrity parishioner, according to a joint lawsuit filed this week in Los Angeles Superior Court. The women repeatedly found strangers around their homes. Send them over here. Their email accounts were hacked and credit cards stolen. Aren't those all crimes right there? One woman's dog mysteriously died. I think the dog was killed. And the autopsy showed trauma to its trachea. The level of sickness, you guys, why isn't somebody in jail for that? Why isn't somebody in jail for that? How many dogs have they killed? They were chased in cars. One was run off the road. They were followed into grocery stores and nail salons. Imagine the pussy man doing that. Imagine the pussy man doing that. All have woken up to find their car doors and trunks wide open. So there's an answer for that too, but I can't say it here. I can't say it here. You guys should know. Use your imagination. While it's awful that these women are essentially being gamergated by the Church of Tom Cruise, their bravery has to be commended. With each new lawsuit, we're learning more and more how Scientology operates. And, unsurprisingly, it's a goddamn hotbed of covering up sexual assault. It's almost like it was built for it. Yeah, it was built for it. Let's just be real. Which is generally what happens whenever there's a power structure created by and for men. Also, it's the pyramid thing. They're going to use sacred texts or alien soup can meters to get their D's touched. Pretty much. So I will leave a link in the description box. Like and subscribe if you choose. Otherwise, have an amazing day or night wherever you are. Peace.